to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back once again. It is Sunday afternoon, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And I am sorry, you'd think I'd have this mastered by now, but at the beginning, if you hear a bunch of shuffling around through the intro there, it's because I hit record and I hit play, and all of a sudden I lost my headphones. I don't know where they're at. I didn't lose them. They're on me, but I lost sound. So I had to jiggle the cords and jiggle some wires, and that's how technical we are over here. This is how high-tech, fancy that we are at this. I had to jiggle some wires to make stuff work. So that's that's my life. I've got this, got the fancy Rodecaster Pro right here, and I still can't make the thing work right. It's not because it doesn't work right. It's because I don't work right myself. I know the Cajun Cowboy, if you guys listen to his podcast, Forgotten American, he is actually got to do a little upgrading. He's getting a fancy new board, and maybe I should. I don't even use this one to its full capacity, so I'll let him try it out, get all the bugs worked out, and he can tell me if it's worth it or not, and then maybe I'll buy a fancy new board. Not that I need another one, or not that I need two boards. Whatever. I spend money. That's what I do best, spend money. So, well, I hope everyone is enjoying their fall. Fall is here. The weather is cooling off. It's getting a little cool at night, a little bit of bite in the morning. It's a perfect time of year to be out on the range, and I hope that this finds everyone out on the range, getting some shooting in before it gets cold, right? It's not too hot now, and they can get outside and you can have some fun, get a little training in before it gets too cold. That's always a very good idea. And I encourage that. I know I've been pretty busy here, lots of classes, and this is the time of year when I actually get ready for next year, and I start planning like my women's academy and getting that stuff put together, and I'm trying a bunch of new online type stuff coming up, so I've been busy learning how to run my computer, learning how to upload information to these different websites and such, trying to get all that figured out. And I tell you what, every website I go on wants me to pay freaking money to use their service. Go figure. Someone offers a service and they want you to pay money. I feel like I'm getting nickel and dimed to death, but I guess it takes money to make money. I mean, tell my wife that. I tell my wife that all the time. It takes money to make money. Got to spend money to make money. She's getting to the point where she doesn't really believe me anymore, so... it is what it is. That's what running a small business is all about. But hey, today's podcast, I've been starting this late. It's going to be quick. And I say this all the time. It's going to be a little quick. It's just me today, and that's fine. And I just got a phone call as I sat down to do this podcast. I thought I had a few hours yet. I got a phone call. My daughter's like, "We're 20 minutes out. We'll be there shortly." They want to use the range. They want to go shooting. They're bringing over the grandson, so I need to hurry up and get this done. So I am available for when they show up. So it's like I said, it's been kind of busy here. Been doing lots of stuff. I'll post a picture of it. I had my wife, my son out yesterday. I was shooting my new AR-15. My son, I have two sons, but the one that was out there shooting with us was my 8-year-old, and he had a blast. He loved it. I'm not quite sure he's using the sights real correctly. It's a peep sight, and he was a little high, I think. We were just shooting at the dirt, having a good time, but it's amazing to me to hear about, and we all know that they're lying anyway, but to hear about the gun grabbers and the people on the left screaming about these horrible AR-15s, and they're so powerful, and they'll they're so powerful, and they'll hurt, and these broadcasters and reporters will go and they'll shoot this AR-15, and it'll bruise their shoulder, and they have PTSD afterwards, and all the power, putting these softball plate-sized, cantaloupe-sized holes in things when you freaking my 8-year-old son was out there, and we all know this, right? But it's still fun to point out. He's out there shooting this thing, and he didn't come away with PTSD. In fact, he's like, Dad, give me another magazine. I want to shoot some more. That's how hard those things hit. That's how much recoil that mighty AR-15 has. It's I don't know, just kind of interesting and entertaining to me to see how much they bolster this thing up, saying it's this huge, horrible weapon, and it's really not. It's 22 caliber, man. It's 22 caliber. That's all it is. So kind of interesting to me. But I've got a news story. I don't know if you guys all saw this news story about the couple that was buying. They buy and they resell. They buy like military surplus stuff, and they have a company. I believe it's down in Texas is where they'll buy this military surplus, and then they'll resell it for their small business. They must have a store or something like that. But anyhow, I think they resell them on eBay actually. And so they found these gun cases, and they ordered a bunch of these gun cases, these military type gun cases, and they got something a little extra. So we'll go ahead and I'll bring that up, and we will talk about it here in just a minute.
Take a look at these fully automatic M16s designed strictly for military use, and yet at least a dozen ended up in a suburban Houston garage. A surprise find by a local couple who thought they were buying 100 empty gun storage cases from a military surplus website.
Just a case, and everyone can buy it online.
But when a friend cracked open a case this weekend, it was far from empty. Not sure what to do, the couple reported the M16s to authorities. Within hours, ATF seized one box and quickly got a search warrant for the storage unit containing 100 more boxes. Experts were shocked.
Maya, it's almost surreal to believe something like that could happen nowadays. It's incredible. It's unbelievable to think that weaponry of that grade, military grade style weapons, would be shipped in containers across state lines, right? That somebody to have access to that. It's pretty shocking.
Retired Houston police captain and former Marine Greg Freeman says the military carefully tracks all of its weapons because any misplaced weapon can be extremely dangerous.
And for these boxes to have M16s cased in them and being shipped to a public destination, not only is it shocking, it's a federal crime.
The ATF confirms it's now investigating along with the FBI, but won't say how many weapons they've recovered. Do you inspect these before you sell them, or did you assume they were empty? The military surplus website says it has pulled other gun cases for sale offline after ABC 13 contacted them. They've also notified the Department of Defense. Meanwhile, for the couple who just bought the cases to resell on eBay, they would like the weapons out of their hands. You're trying to be good citizens.
We are good citizens, I think.
And they'd like to go back to their quiet and small business of reselling surplus supplies on eBay. In Houston, Maya Shea, ABC 13, Eyewitness News.
It's how would that be? I mean, there you go, man. You order a bunch of empty cases you're going to resell, and you open them up, and we don't know about all of them because they won't tell us. But we know, I think there was 5 or 6 M16 rifles found in one of those cases. And it's very interesting as you listen to this. So Merry Christmas is as you look at and you listen to this audio clip that I had here. They jump on there and they say, "Well, we don't lose weapons like this. How is this possible? How is it freaking possible?" I did a quick 45-second to a minute search online, and I found one. I'm sure I could have found a lot more. In fact, I've seen a lot more, but I can't find the articles to back them up right now. But it says 1,900 U.S. military firearms were lost or stolen between 2010 and 2019. So 1,179 rifles were lost. They say stolen, right? They want to say that they're stolen. Somebody stole them. Here let's just say what it is. You don't know what happened to them, so you're hoping that someone stole them and that you guys weren't incompetent enough to just lose them. So 1,179 rifles were lost. No explanation. Where'd they go? 694 handguns were lost. We have no idea where they went. 74 machine guns just disappeared. Nobody knows. 36 grenade launchers just gone. 34 rocket launchers, just those are gone too. 25 mortars, 11 shotguns, and then they have something listed as other, and that was 7. So there you go. It doesn't surprise you. I mean, here's the thing. They're losing rifles. They don't want to account for it. Yet when it comes to civilians, you guys aren't responsible enough. If I've got an SBR, if I've got something that I've got licensed under, that I have to have a tax stamp for, right? They want to know exactly where it is. Me moving to another state and not telling them or anything with that item, right? They'll lose, and they find out they'll lose their mind. Me. Look at Ruby Ridge, right? That guy, that was a big sham anyway, but, sawed off the barrel on a freaking shotgun, and they freaking killed him. Yet they're shipping out boxes of rifles. They're accidentally shipping out boxes of rifles. They're losing all these weapons. And let's look at how many articles have you seen. It's been just a little while, and I'm sure that it happens more often than we know about, than we hear about. But all the people that have lost, the articles I've seen where law enforcement, they'll lose their rifle. They set their rifles or their shotguns or something on the back of their car while they're at some kind of incident, and then they drive off and the thing falls onto the ground, and someone just finds it laying on the ground. Even locally here, we had a guy, this was years ago, right? We had a guy when we were trying to get, which we have a version of it now, but we were trying to get be able to carry on state of Idaho college campuses. We had a guy come out, and I believe this guy's on our local city council right now, which is interesting. But anyhow, he came out, and the paper did a big article, and he came out, and he's like, citizens just are not responsible enough. They are not responsible enough to carry guns on the college campus. And he was head of security or head of something over there at the college. They're not responsible enough. They're not trained enough. And then a few weeks later, what happens? Freaking a local law enforcement officer loses his freaking taser. He doesn't know where it went. He can't find it. Nobody has found this taser. Or I'm sure somebody found it. I'm sure it just wasn't turned in. No taser. Gone. Never found it. It's not on a car. Not on the ground. Not in an office. Not in a pocket. No one can find it. He just loses the taser, right? But yet you haven't heard anywhere, at least locally, of anyone losing their firearms. Now I know occasionally it does happen. We're not in the outs. We're not in the clear. But because occasionally it does happen. But they like to paint the picture of they're so much better, and they don't do this, and the government doesn't do this, and the local law enforcement doesn't do this. It's just you citizens are very irresponsible, and that's going a little too far here. People who are sending, the government is sending boxes of rifles to these people, right? I mean, who dropped the ball on that one? I mean. I don't know. I just shake my head. It's the elitism, right? The government has this elitism. Government officials have this elitism. Local law enforcement, some of them they have this elitism, and this is something I probably shouldn't even talk about. I'm going to start getting pulled over. I'm going to start getting tickets. I'm going to start getting everything here because stuff's just not going to go well for me. I can already see it happening. But one of the things I hate doing, and I hate about even having Patriot Defense. I even hate about having a Facebook page or even the podcast is that I can't be me. That anything that I say or do will reflect. I mean, if it's not with the common group of people out there, if it's not the mainstream, if it's not what the average Joe looks at me, and when they look at me, they see that I'm with firearms. They see that I like firearms. They just assume a lot of things about me. They assume that I'm a Trump guy. They assume that I'm a gun guy, which I am. They assume that I'm for this. They assume that I'm for that. They assume that I must go to church. They assume that I must vote a certain way and support certain candidates. And it's aggravating to me because you guys don't know me. You're right. I can like guns. I can still believe in freedom, and I don't have to be exactly the same way as you. But I'm painted into this picture, so I'm afraid that when I open my mouth and my true feelings on certain things, or my true ideals, or what I believe about things get out, it's just going to crush my freaking business. Right? I'm always concerned about that, and I feel like I can't be my actual authentic self when I do a podcast or when I post on Facebook, and I've got to be very guarded and very careful at all times. And I'll be honest with you, it gets tiring. I just want to be me. Love me or hate me, I just want to be me. Sometimes I get to a point where I just want to say what I say, and if it bites me, it bites me. And I just have this internal struggle daily about what I can and can't talk about, and if I'm just gonna throw it all to the wind and say, it is what it is, man. I lose business. I get business. I don't know. But anyhow, I said all that because I was actually talking about the government elitists, and I talked about local law enforcement type elitists. And it's interesting because I'm on a running Facebook page, and I know I've brought these pages up, but in the past, and I don't get on there and comment just because it's not worth the fight. But after this lady who was out running over, I think it was around Memphis. I think it was Memphis. After or Nashville or somewhere over there, she got kidnapped and she got killed, and they found her body like 3 days later. That was just recently, and every year that happens. And so on these running Facebook pages, there's people will, especially women, right? They get concerned, and they're like, I want to carry some kind of protection. I want a knife, and they ask for suggestions, and people don't give them very good suggestions, and they make fun of them, and they give them a hard time. Well, this lady just the other day put a post out, and she showed a holster that she was carrying when she was running, and it had a revolver in it, and it seemed like it worked really well. It was a belly band type holster, and it protected the gun well, and I believe she was carrying a revolver. And she just took a picture of it saying, this is what I feel like I have to do, right? Then all these people get on there and they harass her and they beat her down and make fun of her and what are you scared of and all this crap. But then I'm reading through the comments. And I know there's a bunch of yahoos out there that carry. I get that. And I know not every civilian goes out and gets training. I wish they would. I really, 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 really wish they would. But there's a lot of people out there that they go and they take a lot of training. And I'm being honest with you, they're better with guns. They're better shots. They're more trained. They're better trained than law enforcement. And this lady gets on this Facebook page and she starts to talk. And she's a law enforcement. Let me read you the comment that she left on this Facebook page. It says, I have an issue with open carry. Well, this woman who was running was open carrying. Because how else are you going to carry when you run, right? Your shorts and a T-shirt, you're typically just going to be open carry. And I do understand her grievance with open carry. She goes, I have an issue with open carry. It's like, hey, look at me. I'm not going to be a victim. I wonder if she's ever even trained with it. This woman also goes to type. She goes, I run strapped. First of all, she's law enforcement. She says strapped. That's the biggest, trashiest piece of lingo I've ever heard of him. I hate it when people say I'm strapped. She goes, I run strapped, concealed off duty, but I'm also a cop, and that's just how I roll. But I always wonder how many people own a firearm and really know how it works or even how to clear a malfunction if it were to happen. And good question, right? And she goes on and comments a bunch more. We won't get into that, but I mean, good question. Who's trained? Who knows how to do that, right? I think there's a portion of people that do need to go out and train more. But she is just assuming. I got elitism out of that. She is just assuming I'm a cop, and that's how I roll. I can carry a gun. I'm trained. The average Joe is not. I look at someone who's not a cop, and I see that they're carrying, and I always wonder how much training they have. Do they really know how to use it, or are they just showing off? Are they just carrying to be tough? It's my job. I'll protect you. That's not the way it works, man. That's not the way it works. That shouldn't be the way that it works. And you've got to watch out for local law enforcement. Not even local. You just got to watch out for law enforcement, period, because they aren't all, some are good guys, but they're not all good people, right? And they act like they're better than you. And, I've had law enforcement even teach some of my class sometimes, and I got to watch it because they'll be like, well, I'm a cop. I can carry wherever I want. Oh, okay. And I get a lot of people that come to sign up for a class with me, and they're ex-law enforcement. I'm a cop. I can carry wherever I want. I don't need to be here. Well, then go home. Freaking don't be here then. right? You're no better than me. I know I can, right now, most of the people I know are probably better with their firearm than local law enforcement is, than law enforcement, than cops, than military. I get that with the military. I'm a military guy. I don't need this class. I don't need to take your class. I'm military. I'm like, yeah, well, I've seen you guys shoot. Right? I've seen law enforcement shoot too. Most of them need a class. Most of them need help. Most of them aren't shooters, right? I mean, that's just the way I see it. It just irritates the crap out of me. This whole elitist mentality. I don't understand it. I mean, I do, but I don't. It's so irritating, and everyone puts, and what irritates me is we put so much elitism. I think we've caused this, right? Oh, here we go. I gotta step back for just back it up just a second, and I gotta think about how I want to phrase this. I honestly think that we have caused this, and I think we've caused this without knowing that we've caused this. I think we've been programmed to cause this, right? I'm not saying law enforcement's bad. I think there's good apples and bad apples. I'm not saying I think that we work up first responders, we work up law enforcement up into this elitism, this high standard that we think that they're going to, we hold them so high, right, that it goes to people's heads sometimes. It makes them feel bigger and better than what they are. But if it comes right down to it, I just think you would be super surprised at what your law enforcement will and won't do for you. And if you think that, and I hear this all the time, law enforcement, they're not coming to get your guns. I think you need to revisit that. I know this has been an ongoing theme as of late, but every time I turn around, it's law enforcement. They try to get us with more gun regulations and more gun control. I always hear this. Law enforcement, local law enforcement, they're not coming to get it. They're not coming to take our guns. I think that you might be surprised. I really think you might be surprised. It's a job, and I think a lot of people are going to do exactly what they're told to do. I mean, we saw it in Hurricane Katrina. We've seen it before. People are going to do what they're told to do. And if they're not great, they're going to quit. I've heard that before too. Oh, they'll just quit. They won't do it. Well, go ahead and quit. They'll find someone that will do it. They have no problems doing that. I think that we need to be friends with law enforcement. We need to, be on their side. They need to be on our sides. But I think we just need to keep an eye on them as well, because they will be the ones that will come for your firearms. They really will be. And in all honesty, even the law enforcement officials, the law enforcement will go to, and they will take different training classes. And they'll go, I know locally there's a big place down just kind of northwest of me that they'll go, and they're really big on training law enforcement and military. And I think we need to really watch that, because I think those people are actually training law enforcement. They're training the fellow trainers are training the people that might come and take our firearms, right? I mean, you got to look at that as well. It's interesting. Until the rubber meets the road, we don't know what anyone's going to do. We don't know if the sheriff's going to stand up for us. We don't know if the governor's going to stand up for us. We have no idea. We don't know if our county commissioners are going to stand up for us. And that's another reason why I have trouble voting anyone in, because you vote someone in and they change. They change overnight. They could be your best friend. They may be someone you know, someone you grew up with, and they will change overnight. We have a situation going on right now where there's a bunch of people I know and who are like backing one of our local state, officials, our state candidates, right, in this state. Well, the guy comes from kind of a shady past, and I think that's a problem. And that's going to make no sense to anyone who hears that, except for maybe one person. So I'm going to back off that, because I always step a little too far, and I might have gone a little too far with that one. I need to put my thoughts together before I start going down that road and decide if I want to. And see, there you go. There's another example of me being who trying to be me, even though I can't be me, right? So I have to watch what I say. And that irritates me. That irritates me so much. So irritating to me. But I think we'll just go ahead and call it there, because all these thoughts that are coming to my brain right now say, Todd, tell them how you really feel. Todd, tell them how you really feel. I honestly don't think anyone's ready for that. I don't think I'm ready for the fallout. So I might have went a little too far today anyhow, but it's kind of how I feel. I like law enforcement. I got lots of friends who are law enforcement, but I question everything. And I want you to know that a good majority of us shoot better, handle our firearms better than what they do. We're better trained. We know more. And when we get these elitists on Facebook or whatever, and they say, well, the citizens can't handle the guns. They're not responsible enough. They can't do this. They can't do that. That's elitism, folks. That is elitism. That is, I am law enforcement. I have a gun. You shouldn't have a gun. I am better than you. I will tell you what to do. Interesting stuff out there. So just kind of keep an eye on that and be careful who you raise up to those elite high pedestals in the sky, because I think that's kind of what we were kind of unknowingly programmed to do. And I think there's a reason for that. So let's just keep an eye on that. But until then, thanks for listening to the podcast. I know this one was really short. I told you it would be. It is what it is. I keep saying that. It is what I just need to figure this. I just need to figure my life out and get this taken care of and get back on track with this. I promise I will do better. I say that all the time. This broken record. There go my followers. There go my subscribers. But if you guys got any questions or comments, you can call me. You can text me, area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. If you want to support me by joining Patreon, you definitely can. And I got some more stuff in the pipe coming down pretty soon. It's not quite ready yet. Some more things to offer to you that you can help support me on. Some more things, not just give me money, but we'll do a little trade, a little knowledge dump, a little bang for your buck, some value coming your way that you can purchase if you feel like you would like to. I'll get out more of that coming up pretty soon. But until then, you guys have a good week. I will talk to you later. Bye.